All right, fastest 15 minutes in social media, fastest 15 minutes on the internet. My name is Judson Powell. I want to talk some spirituality, more so African spirituality, and the uh, the things that were exposed by Kirk Franklin, because he cussed his son out, and then he apologized for cussing his son out, which is absolutely ridiculous because it's his son. But anyway, let me get down on this. See, the problem with religion is that it sets a basis of laws and rules and all of that, when that's basically not how spirituality works. And he has been caught up in, when I say he, Kirk Franklin has been caught up in a lot of stuff. He was addicted to pornography. There are rumors out there that he's cheated on his wife, stuff like that. It is a rumor. I'm not saying that he did it or anything like that, so don't get me wrong. But the fact that he went and he cussed out his son and then came back and apologized, is his issue, is his seed. Why do you apologize for your issue and your seed? I don't get it. And the other thing is that it is in denial. It's denial of his nature, right? It denies your nature. That's something that's innate inside of us all. And so when we talk about in spirituality, when we talk about um, all of these things are within um, your nature and within your netters. And it's actually part of your divine nature. It's not sin. It's just part of your nature, right? Everything is not good all the time. The major thing that we try to focus on is what? Balance. Balance. Because you, just like it's in you to be nice, it's also in you to curse somebody, to cuss somebody out. Right? You don't know, you can, and then when you do cuss somebody out, you can't say, oh, I'm sorry, or I was watching, the whole thing. Remember, the whole thing about is pornography, and pornography is something that's set up what, to make us go back to our lower urges. The Kundalini, the whole thing about your chakras and your ability to go up and down your chakras at the drop of a hat is there. You can do it. And speaking of that, because I remember, this guy said, "Why did you do it?" Because I could. Because you have free will. And so I think as beings, we deny our nature, and that's what spirituality tries to get us to avoid, is to deny our nature. That's the whole deal. And once you know what's in your nature, those 42 negative confessions of Mayat show us what's in our nature. Because just like we can affect it positively, we can affect it negatively. We can affect it negatively. And what we're trying to do is to obtain balance. And then when we go to judgment, because only Mayat is the judge. You weigh your heart against a feather. But take what I'm saying again, how can he be guilty of the correction of his own son? How is some way guilty that he's affecting the correction of his own son? So should we not correct our sons? Should we not, you know, correct our children? See that, and that's one of the things that society and all of this political correctness and all of that stuff is what it tells us. But he has nothing to be ashamed of by correcting his son. I'm speaking as a priest, as a Kemetic priest, as a spiritual priest. I'm saying why is it, a friend of mine, he put on his timeline today, he put on, I'm not born into sin, and I'm not a sinner. I'm not born into sin. Sin was created for religion. Sin was created for religious purposes, but it has nothing to do with your um, physical makeup or your spiritual makeup or your soul as being a human being. Because just like you have Satan inside of you, you have, and you can have whatever you want to call it, but you have the enlightened person that you can be. Your enlightenment is not affected by your sin or by what the world says is sin. It's just not. And I know y'all, every time. And so you have to be able to put that out of your being, and out of your thought process, and out of your spiritual process, because all you're doing is trying to get to that seventh chakra and to enlightenment. So, and how do you get to enlightenment? You go within, not without. You go within in order to pick up your enlightenment, in order to perceive your enlightenment. And nobody's path, and here's the other thing that I hate about religion. Nobody's path is the same. They try to make you feel guilty um, in some way because your path is different from their path. Oh, you're a sinner, you're a reprobate sinner. There's no way that none of this stuff should exist in your life. It's not true. It's one of the biggest lies that you've ever been told. And so when we look at situations like Kirk Franklin, and now a lot of people are looking down upon him or disowning him or saying how bad it is, or how basically how inconsistent it is, because of what they wanted to deny his nature, or they want him to deny his own nature. That's how he felt. That's how he, because you can always be, thrown down to your lower nature. And I've talked about this many times. Your lower nature still exists. Your first chakra, I am, still exists. I am, and I feel, and I can do all of these things. So just like I can, that's why I tell y'all, Lucifer, the Bible talks about Lucifer. He's what? Lucifer is the morning star. But what is Jesus? Jesus is the bright and morning star as well. So don't think that these things don't exist, and don't think that you can't be pushed to them. Why? And why did he? Why? And the other thing is, let me just say this: why did he feel the way he felt? Because he loves his son. Because you don't take action, even I've come to this too. Even no matter what the action is, it's all done out of love. You know, because a person that you don't love in some way, shape, form, or fashion does not push you to a action of cussing them out. I mean, come on. You don't get mad at your children because you hate them. You get mad at your children because you love them. And I have 7 children, and one that I just raised that wasn't even my biological child. But I don't get angry or upset at them unless they do something that's that's against what I feel. But if I say something to them, that's because I love them. And the correction, the correction of a child is love. So stop judging. We always quick to judge in religion. Oh Lord, he's a sinner. He done sinned. He done cursed. He done cussed. And remember, another thing is there's a difference between cussing and cursing. Cussing is just bad words. Cursing is putting a spell on somebody. See so and even and both of those things are what? They're possible because of what? Your netters, because of your nature. They're like that because of your nature. It's in your nature to cuss somebody out. Tell me it's not. Tell me it's not. Or prove to me that it's not. Prove to me that that's not in your human nature. Why does he, remember Michael Jackson's song, why does he treat me that way? Why does he do me that way? Why? Tell him that it's human nature. It's the nature of the human. Anyway. I'll argue with y'all later. And why do we argue? Because it's human nature. And why do we look at things that are in our lower nature? See, things are in our lower nature because we don't have to go but so far to understand or to be thrust into some behavior. That's in our kundalini. That's in our lower nature. It's always it always has been in our lower nature. So smart people in the church said, "Oh, that's sin." So we have to defend ourselves and our seed against what? Against the lie of sin. Against the very nature that is in our psyche. That's against our nature that's in our being, in our makeup. That's what it is. It's the Most High's makeup for us. It's how we are made. And then we weigh our heart against a feather, mayat. It's in our lower nature. So anyway, I don't know what else to say in order to get you to see these things. In fact, I'm not going to say anything. All I can tell you is to pray and meditate. Pray and meditate. That's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. Pray and meditate. Go within, not without. There's nobody outside of you. There's nothing that's outside of you. There's nothing that's like that. It's all within. Anyway, fastest 15 minutes is up. My name is Judson Powell. I ask you to hit the like button, all of the buttons, the notification button, all the buttons, and we'll talk to you next time. I love you. I love you.